I was 30 years old when I got the idea, but I was working for a company that manufactured the radio controls for garage doors. One day I had the idea that a lot of people don't have automatic garage doors down here. They didn't know how it worked. So I thought it would be a good idea to build something that you could demonstrate that this is how it works. So I went to the fellow that owned the company, Telectron at the time, and I asked him what he thought about it. He thought it was a good idea. And I said, well, I don't have any place to build it. And I don't have a truck yet, but I've got to buy a truck. So I had to go to my wife to see if she would give me enough money to buy a truck, $500. And she said yes. So he gave me a quarter in the building for me to build a truck. It took me probably 6 weeks to do it, doing it at night. And then we had to have somebody do the books, and that's Janie.
I started in 1963, actually. We were working at Telectron, another company, and I applied for a job, and Jack's brother hired me. And I worked for him for some time, and his father called me in one day, and his dad said that he wanted me to go to work for Jack, that nobody could get along with him, and he really felt that I could probably get along with him. And I was 19, I desperately needed a job, and I knew I was going to get along with him.
I got a design patent on the truck.
When I first knew Jack, he was going to start this business, and he was going to build a truck with a house on it, and it was kind of unusual. And in the process, he was going to get a design patent.
The word got out that that was a good idea, so I built 4 more.
Both his dad and his brother were helping, and with the attorneys and applying for it, sure enough, he got it. It took some time, but he got the patent.
And it was good for 14 years.
But now we were really in a different business. So it just sort of flowed from one right into the other. And this was the beginning.
So I had to have somebody going out selling. So I hired a guy, Jeff, and he started knocking on doors, door to door, and it kind of worked out. The first month we sold 22 operators. We had a fellow that was working at Telectron too. In the evening he would install them.
When we really started, there was just 3 of us. There was Jack and I, and we had an installer. And his name was Floyd. And so he started his own record keeping. And this book was from the very first installation we ever did. And it's been around a long time. And it starts alphabetical, and he kept track of all of his customers, what he did, what they bought. And it became sort of the Bible because he had records that we didn't have at that time. And Floyd was with us a long time, and that was at the same time when we had Jeff the salesman.
That's the first truck that we put on the road, and Jeff, he's working with us now. He wanted to try it. He would knock door to door selling them, and he did a very good job at it. You couldn't do that today. I mean, you get shot, but there's too many gated communities now you can't get in. But things were a lot different then. I had my kids going out, and we had door hangers and just hang them on the door. So that's how we got started with the whole thing.
I've known Jane since I was 5 years old. I can remember going down to the old buildings and putting quarters and dimes on the door hangers to hand out on the back of the house truck. In the summers, we used to go door to door, hang them on the door hangers. A friend of mine that still works at the company, David, he and I would do it, and we'd have a couple friends throughout the school year, and that's just how we, made summer money.
This was the early records, and they are all in the east side of Fort Lauderdale, Lighthouse Point, off the islands. It was actually, you'd say, people who had more money because they could afford this luxury garage door operator and radio controls.
People didn't know what a garage door opener was. And a lot of houses down here didn't even have a garage. They were carports. On the east side, they had bigger houses, and nobody else was really doing anything down here. So I just thought it would be nice, let them see how it works. Stand there and open the door from the front door, and that would be out in the street. And they thought, oh, geez, that's really neat. That's a transmitter that you put in the car to open the garage door. The first ones were cigarette case. We would put the transmitter in there with a little button on it. And it had a door you had to hit the button and the door would go up. This is Janie. She did everything in there, and she was paid very well.
Some of my fondest memories was the house truck. He always liked red. He would make me go out there and wax the truck. Not just put a coat of wax on. You'd have to rub it out, then put a coat of wax on, rub it out, put a coat of wax on. And he would come out every once in a while and inspect it and make me do it all over again.
This is on the west side of the airport. That's the maintenance building. We rented that. The building is very small, an office and a door that you can pull a truck in. And Janie was working there too. Didn't have a toilet, but that wasn't a problem for me, but a problem for her. She'd have to go over to Telectron to go to the bathroom. So.
Boldly go where no man has gone before.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon.
I remember down at the old shop at the airport working in the warehouse. I was probably 10, 11. I was always going to work with my dad. I can remember, because we still do it today. He doesn't do it, but I do it now. I can remember going with him to buy donuts on Friday at Broward Donut. The best donuts in town. That's before Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, but we used to go there and get donuts for the guys, and we still do that today on every Friday.
We were there for a couple of years, and then we got into another building on the back of the airport, and it was a lot bigger.
A lot of family members, mostly from Jane's side, her brothers used to come and work in the summers, and nephews, and we used to work together. And I can remember one time he sent me down to Hialeah to unload a truck of roll-up doors, and it was like 144, 145 roll-up doors, and it was a pyramid. And I knew right then I was adopted, that he was trying to get rid of me. After that, you kind of learn as you grow, when you go into the business, and that's just all part of what we have to do to get the job done.
We were doing a good business with the operators, so we got hooked up with Raynor in Illinois to be a distributor for the garage doors. And that was in the early 70s.
I can remember the first load of garage doors that he bought. No loading dock in the back, and we put them into a little Quonset hut building, and that's how we really got started in it. And I just grew up into the business, and it just evolved into what we have today.
When we got into the garage door business, we needed more room. The county let us rent another building that was larger, and we were in there for 15 years, and we outgrew that.
I think it was a name he came up with, and we just shortened it because it was too long to answer, when you're answering the phones. So we just shortened it to EDL, and that's just what stuck, and that's what we started putting on the side of the vehicles, and that was EDL. And that's how everybody knows of us, is EDL.
Well, the salesman that we had drove the El Caminos, so that was in the early 70s.
He's had those El Caminos ever since I was a kid. We were in the Boy Scouts. He had El Caminos. He had yellow ones, red ones, black ones, white ones. He's had them all. We used to deliver newspapers out of the back of the El Caminos. Used to. Boy Scouts in El Camino. He still drives an El Camino, and he will not drive anything else but an El Camino.
A picture of my dad, my son, and myself. and that's in the office of our second building.
He paid me $1.65 an hour, which was, you know, back then, you know, you're a kid.
Thousands and thousands of West Germans come to make the point that the wall has suddenly become irrelevant.
1978, we bought a lot, paid it off. In 1980, we built the building. We built two buildings, one big building, 10,000 square foot, and then a small one. In case this didn't work out, we could rent out the other little building over to help us. When we built the building, the interest rate was 16%, and it was a holy mackerel, what did I do here? It was just a dirt road. We had to pace it off to find out where it was, and there was nothing there.
We moved from the warehouses into the building that was built. You know, that's when we're handling a lot of the wood garage doors that you can no longer handle anymore, and the product line is different. We had a warehouse full of garage doors, and we moved on the weekend and opened up on Monday.
In 1986, we bought that building where Gatemaster is now. We had to put a walk across there, and we had one guy start at one end and the other guy at the other end, and that's the way it wound up.
When we first decided to buy Rayner Garage Doors, it's a family-owned business up in Illinois, we would get various awards throughout the year. Top 10, sales performance, $1 million awards. And the $1 million award meaning you purchased $1 million worth of products throughout their fiscal year. And once a year they would have an awards banquet. And you could see in one of those pictures my dad was kissing the top of the head of the gentleman that's in charge of handing out discounts. He would do anything to get the discounted price from Rayner Garage Doors, and that's how that all started. And they still, amongst today, still, you know, maintain their friendship.
There was an electronic door lift company in Kansas City. He wanted to send me something for the building, so he sent me that. He said, "It's a f***ing rock."
That's a unique job that we did mid-'80s for Mr. Egan's house, the owner of Alamo Rent-A-Car, where they wanted a unique setup where instead of a garage door that would conventionally open and close, it was a swing-out barn type. Well, that was one of the first gate jobs that we did down at the Harbridge. One of those pictures was my dad working on it. That was back in the day, you know, when I was younger, when we first started dabbling into the gate business itself. Les Jardins was one of the jobs that we did up in Boca, one of the newer communities up in central Boca back in the probably late 80s, early 90s. They contracted for us, and this is how we got started, really. My dad's hobby, if you will, his older cars. We used to do home shows down at the Broward Convention Center, and we were allowed to bring a car in there as long as we emptied out the fuel. And we set the home show display up around the 50s style. Checkerboard floor, the 50s Thunderbird, 55 Thunderbird, and we built a display around it, and we would attract all sorts of people. And at one time we had a small Coke machine that we would hand out little Coke bottles, you know, to people, and it would got our name out there. It was really cool.
Today we celebrate. This is indeed a joyous night.
If you can see it, the beginnings of Andrew. This is just one little squall. We have much more to go.
And at 4:35 a.m. on Sunday morning, the deadly eye wall of Andrew hit Dade County at 175 miles an hour, destroying the radar that produced these images.
Hurricane Andrew was a little bit unique. It changed the building industry. It changed what we do. When people call us for garage doors, we would go down there, and you can see by some of those pictures, there was no signs, and the devastation was down there. And those are some of the homes that we had to go in and you know, get the garage door out and put a new garage door in, you know, for the insurance companies or the homeowner. And back then we had GPS systems in our vehicles, and that's how we could locate the vehicles and tell them which way to go and how to get down there, because there was no signs or anything down there. The building codes for our garage doors changed. It came a little bit more strict, and that's what really took off in the market that we have today after Andrew in the early 90s. The industry has changed. The way we install the garage doors changed. The permitting process has changed. And that's what really generated the building boom back in the mid to late 90s.
They were getting stronger on the code for garage doors. They started with the 2x4s on the back of the door. We would get the whole truckload of 2x4s. It had to be white pine, and we would put those on the back of the doors to strengthen the door for the wind loading.
City of Fort Lauderdale Fire Department just happened to be going by and noticed that they were passing a garage door company. And a couple of firefighters stopped in and wanted to talk to us. And they explained to us that they wanted to do a little demonstration on how their firemen can get into a burning building or building home through the garage door. So by talking to them, we came up with the idea of letting them use our building, and we would put garage doors that we've taken down from previous homes and install them into our location, and they would bring their rookies over, and then they would videotape as a demonstration on how they can use the saw to get into these burning buildings. And we did that for quite some time. We built a display for them for last year's expo, and periodically they come over to our shop and they set up with their new set of rookies that come in, and they explain to them the life safety on getting into a garage door.
In 1996, we bought a garage door company in Boca, Madison Company. And also in 96, we bought Gatemasters. That's how we got into the gate business. In 1997, we bought another company, G&A Garage Doors. We did this for the service business.
But I asked the question, why is it that it goes up and down?
And restore fairness to our economy. That's the kind of president I intend to be.
2006, we bought AMF. It's American Metal. He had a lot of equipment, so we put it next door, the metal fabrication and all that. That's how we grew. And now we're up to 62 people.
Travis is in the Top. That's a show that we did down at Bahia Mar many years ago. I think he was probably 4 or 5. And he was sitting in the top of the tractor trailer with one of the truck drivers that he allowed him to drive back to the shop as we unloaded everything that night. So it was pretty cool. And the bottom picture is him hard at work.
I did the same thing as my dad. I think going in with him on the weekends, doing odd and end stuff. I think one of my very first tasks were changing the little dip switches and the radio controls and putting the labels on them. You know, like 500 of them, getting paid probably a penny a piece. You know, that was one of my first things probably before I was even 10 years old. And then after that, I kept working with them, you know, in the warehouse, going out on the truck, doing the installs with all the garage doors. You know, up until I left for college, you know, I was working there through high school too, whenever I had free time. I do the 4 years plus a semester, so I graduated at the summer. And that was in 2006, so things were really booming, and they were buying companies. And right before I graduated, right after, they came up, flew up to Tallahassee for a night, and they said they wanted to talk to me. I had no idea what about. It had to be something big. So they fly up, we go out to dinner, they talk to me, and they say that they want to buy a company. I think it was in Port St. Lucie or Stewart or Vero. And they wanted me to run that company, you know, as a remote location from the main company. So I thought about it. I don't think I thought about it very long, but I turned them down and said no. Not sure why, you know, coming right out of college, you think you know, there's something always better, something great that you're going to come up with it on your own. I think because of that decision, they ended up not buying the company. up there, which I think ended up saving them quite a bit of money because that was right before things turned south. And then about 3 months later, I called them and was looking for a job. So it didn't really take long for me to change my mind, but it was in a different direction. You know, not in the garage doors, more in the metal fabrication and access control.
Well, now we have 33 vehicles with the salesmen, service people for the garage doors, and next door over in Gatemaster we have the guys going out installing gates. And it takes a lot to get everybody going in the right direction and having everything on the truck and so forth.
Yes, trying to get them out of the parking lot, get them going for the day, meet the customer's needs, the time constraints. You know, we give a 2-hour window for the customer's needs. And yeah, it takes a lot of coordination, a lot of know-how, a lot of people, and to get things moving. Current service department, getting ready for the day's activities. The dispatcher, which are brother and sister there, Susan and Stephen, which are Jane's brother and sister. So it's a family-oriented business. And Susan's been there for quite some time, Stephen's been there for quite some time, and they're just getting ready for the day.
I basically run all of our metal fabrication and basically our Gatemaster side. You know, getting all the welders, coordinated the jobs, the drawings, everything from quoting the job to making sure that it was done complete 100% up to the customer's satisfaction. Well, basically it comes with my dad walking in the office, can we make these? And I have a drawing of a picture of a PDF that has no detail, no dimensions, and I'm sure we can pretty much make anything in aluminum. So I asked them to give more details. They sent some drawings. Me and my designer Jason that does all my AutoCAD drawings, we look at it together, kind of come up with some specifics. He does the drawings. We send them back, they get kicked back 2 or 3 times until everyone's happy and on the same page. Then after that, basically we do our shop drawings, get all our material list. I get with the welders out in the shop and we come up with a game plan on who's going to do what, you know, because you kind of need to on a big job like that. And it's still in production now, but it seems to be going good. A new development that they're building in Delray, they're going to be on 6-foot planters, and these are 10 foot tall, so it'll be 16 feet in the air. And they're just decoration when you pull in, and they're going to have big arms hanging off the side with the logo. But they'll probably be there for the next 30, 40 years as long as the community is there.
The carpenter shop, that's where we convert a steel garage door into a wood overlay door with various designs of wood that we apply to the face of the door to make them look like a wood door. And we've been doing that for quite some time. It's a market that nobody else is doing. We have really, really good craftsmen. They're really, really good. In fact, one of the guys, his father is a furniture maker down in Haiti, and he's really, really good. He can do anything. He can do wonders with any of the wood products. That was after Wilma, that Jamie from Executive Hardware wanted some garage doors to protect his building. And we put a couple on the inside, one to protect his front doors and one to protect the outside. So that's a picture to show the size of the door and the size of Jamie. I think between Jane and myself, we've probably quit 12 or 15 times. We keep coming back, you know, but no, it's been a good ride. You know, it's been fun. It's been good. You learn as you go. If you don't learn something new every day, you're not learning.
It's been a nice journey. Now it's up to the next generation, see what they can do with it.
It's good. I have a good time. I love the people that we work with, you know, everyone together, but I think we all work very well, and the group that we have is, you know, phenomenal as far as a whole, and then as individuals as well.
Never left my chair, but I quit, and it's been a long time together, and it's really kind of amazing. We kind of sit and laugh about it and say, you know, my God, 50 years, you know.
It's being at the right place, at the right time, and a lot of luck. Hire people smarter than you are, and you'll be okay.